Good morning, everyone. How are you? My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show, appropriately named. It's brought to you by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. And I do it live every day from the Steven Singer Studios. There's a couple of things that the kids say today that I do find very amusing. I was today years old. Yeah, I like that one. I was today years old when I figured out you could, put, whatever. I was today years old, this, that, and the other, and all that. And then the other one I really like is the adulting. I'm adulting today. It's like I'm not an actual adult. I'm just doing an impression of an adult for today, and then I'll go back to Chutes and Ladders later. For the people on the podcast that are very young, Chutes and Ladders was what was known as a board game. There was no electronics involved, no internet, no Wi-Fi required. It was just the greatest game ever on the planet. I don't care what you Candyland people say. Candyland was far inferior to Chutes and Ladders. The other thing that I like that the kids say today is good morning to everyone except whoever just pissed you off. Good morning to everyone except Doc Rivers. Now, did they lose the game last night because of Doc Rivers? No, they did not lose the game last night because of Doc Rivers. Although they may have. But I'm fairly confident that the Heat still would have won last night's game had Paul Reed started, had Paul Reed not get maybe in foul trouble, had Deandre Jorden played less, had Charles Bassey possibly play more? Question mark. I'm fairly confident the Heat still would have won. However, as somebody tweeted me last night, Paul Reed is not the answer. I concur with that statement. Paul Reed is not the answer. You know who's the answer? Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's not available, so the closest thing, though yet very far from the answer, is Paul Reed. You know what's not the answer? Deandre Jorden and his 95-year-old legs. Yeah, still got some hops as long as he's 2 feet within the basket. But if you're asking him to play any defense, not happening. Asking him to own the boards? No, that ain't happening either. Yeah, Deandre Jorden ain't it. And we're going to add to the latest album of greatest hits by dumb things Duck Rivers has said from last night's press conference when he talked about like it or not. Like it or not. Deandre Jorden is going to get the start over Paul Reed. I was blown away with some of the things that were said after yesterday, but there's really just one thing I have to focus on. And I'm going to give you the whole story, as Doc Rivers would say. I'm going to give you the whole story as to why Deandre Jorden was in that starting lineup last night and why Deandre Jorden was in the starting lineup coming out of halftime, even though the Sixers just were going to went on a great run. Hey, this team's got a lot of momentum. What can I do to kill it? Doc Rivers. I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed to see Deandre Jorden come out and start that second half. I know Paul Reed had 3 fouls. I don't care. Your team finally established some sort of momentum. And instead of saying, let me ride this till I can't ride it anymore, you put Deandre Jorden back in the ballgame. Bold strategy, Duck. Bold strategy. And you know what he did last night? He lived up to his name in ducking responsibility because he said he left it up to his players. He told the players, what do you want to do? And their key guys, as you'll hear him say, said that they wanted to go with Deandre Jorden. They needed a roller, somebody that would roll to the basket. And they don't want to get Paul Reed in foul trouble. Well, tough luck. That's going to happen, unfortunately. I am just amazed. I'm amazed that the Sixers were down 14, battled back to take a 1-point lead by halftime, and then the head coach decided to push aside anything that the team had said or any logical thought and start Deandre Jorden still in the second half. I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, Paul Reed, go in there, and if you get your foul in your first 30 seconds, you get your foul in your first 30 seconds. But I'm not going to just squash the momentum that my team has put together by the way they ended that first half going into the third quarter, especially with the way the Miami Heat have owned the third quarter, especially in this postseason. Their series against the Atlanta Hawks, they outscored the Hawks by 35 points in their what ended up being a 5-game series against the Hawks. So they pretty much know what they're doing in that third quarter. And instead of putting your best foot forward, you said, no, let me put Deandre Jorden out there and see what happens. He later praised Deandre Jorden for what he was able to do at the start of that third quarter, but that is not even going to be the norm. The fact of the matter is something else was working, and you decided to go away from it, regardless of what the team had to say. Whatever they say, go. He was even thinking about starting Paul Millsap in the third quarter. Now, although that's pissed me off because it's one of the things that I think is just obvious. Like, how do you get away from it as a coach? The reason they lost this game is A, they didn't have Joel Embiid, and B, they couldn't make a shot to save the damn lives. I know the Heat didn't do much better from beyond the arc, but the Sixers' 3 guys of Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green, and George Niang, who was 0 for 7 from beyond the arc, those 3 guys can't be 2 for 18 for a game from beyond the arc. As a team, you can't shoot, 17% from beyond the arc? 17.6% from beyond the 6 for 34. And you certainly can't get owned on the offensive glass the way you did throughout the regular season against Toronto Raptors when you're trying to win a game against the Miami Heat, the number 1 seed. And especially when you're going up against the center like Bam Adebayo. Didn't have Joel Embiid. Couldn't get an offensive rebound in the first half. Couldn't throw the ball in the ocean from beyond the arc. That is why you lost this game. Oh, and Doc Rivers didn't put his best. Scusi. Doc Rivers didn't put his best foot forward when it came to his bench. I was starting, not even his bench. Yeah, the bench was terrible again, but the starting 5, most notably, didn't put his best foot forward. I don't know what you do with this guy anymore. I don't know what you do with Doc Rivers, and I know a lot of people are already saying, well, he's going to be gone anyway. So I like the tweets last night, too, that just said, hey, Miami, the Sixers head coach, Doc Rivers, or here he is, next year's Lakers head coach. Apparently that's still not the idea, but I know a lot of people are still thinking that. Here's the quote of quotes from your boy, Doc Rivers, after the game last night. Here he is, talking about why Deandre Jorden got the minutes over Paul Reed.
You know, we talked to our guys. They wanted a big guy, a big roller. I thought in the second half, that's how he has to play every night. Those first 4 or 5 minutes were great from him. That's what we need. We love Paul, but we don't need Paul in foul trouble, and that's why you don't want to start him. So we like DJ. We're going to keep starting him, whether you like it or not. That's what we're going to do because our guys believe in him. It's funny, at halftime, we asked our key guys, because we were thinking about it, because I thought Paul Millsap gave us some decent minutes, and to a man, that's where he wanted to go.
Like it or not. Like it or not. Yeah, I like when the team plays better. Like that or not. I have no ill will towards DeAndre Jorden. I don't. If he doesn't go in there and perform, if he doesn't go in there and do his job, then why is he in there? Let alone why is he starting? I know you're going to have to mix him in simply because Joel Embiid's not playing. Let's get that out of the way, the obvious. But how is it that you can watch a guy go out there, play for 16 minutes, score 4 points, be a minus 22 in his 17 minutes played, and get 2 rebounds? Meanwhile, Paul Reed comes off the bench to get you 4 points as well, plays 13 minutes, so 4 minutes less. There's the math for you. And he gets 9 boards, 5 of them offensive. 5 offensive rebounds, Paul Reed. 9 boards overall. He even gets 4 assists, God love him. And you mean to, and yes, 5 personal fouls as well. But you mean to tell me that DeAndre Jordan's the guy going forward? Like it or not. Could you imagine being Paul Reed for a second? I said this after the Paul Reed victory tour little thing that Doc Rivers put out there. Could you imagine being Paul Reed working your ass off through the D League, or G League, excuse me? Going to a championship, winning MVP of that. You're getting some minutes at the NBA level. Finally, you're making some things happen for yourself. Continue to work your ass off. Joel Embiid's out. Now you got to step up for the team. And your head coach says, hey, thanks for all that hard work and production, by the way. Go sit your ass on the bench. You foul too much. Okay, coach, let's roll the dice on those fouls if you know you're going to get the production from me. Because you know who's not going to give it the production? 109-year-old Deandre Jorden. That's the guy who's not going to give you the production. Okay. Not pile on for a second here, but one last time. What the hell, Doc Rivers? What the hell? But again, how would you like to be Paul Reed and go through all that and like it or not, you're not starting. Like it or not, the team supposedly wants a roller. Hey, Paul Reed, roll in a basket. Okay, coach. Done. And you get defense on the other side too? Okay. Yeah, still going to take that guy. Like it or not. Wow, the balls on you, man. Like I said, we're going to add it to the greatest hits album of Doc Rivers, and it's going to go right up there with, you want me to bench Ben Simmons? You want me to bench Ben Simmons? Next game, Ben Simmons benched. Hey, Doc, can you win a championship with Ben Simmons? I don't know. Months later, fast forward. I didn't say I didn't know if I could win a championship. I said I didn't know. I didn't know the answer to anything. I was just blowing off the question. Okay, sure you were. We're not going on a Paul Reed victory tour. Okay. Would you ask Pop that question? Wow, these are really cranking out the greatest hits by Doc Rivers. Oh, well, does it come to your house in CD form from Guthrie Ranker? Was that what it was called? Was that what used to come to your house? I am in a mood today, thanks to Doc Rivers. And like earlier in the day, I watched A.J. Brown's press conference, and I felt for the Eagles, you know, the football team and stuff. I was watching him, and I was like, man, this is great. This guy's awesome. I love this. This is fantastic. And then I got bummed that the Honey Badgers going to the Saints, so forget about that for a second. For a foreseeable future. And I was just like, okay, well, at least they got a guy who's a wide receiver who can be number one guy, and he's a bigger dude, and he's a different target, and he wants to win, and we'll let you hear from him in a second. But I'm like, all right, I feel good. And then Doc Rivers just says, to hell with everything. I can't for a second imagine being Paul Reed and thinking, wow, my coach just said, like it or not. So I really have no chance here. As long as Doc Rivers is the coach, ducking responsibility, blaming everybody else. This is great. All right. Now, like I said a second ago, not to pile on. But if you're the Sixers, how do you go into a game one like that and shoot that terribly from the floor? I know it's not what, like, in terms of what the Heat did in last night's game, they were terrible as well. But at least they had Tyler Hero come off the bench and drop, 25 for last night, 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Like, he had himself a great game, outscored the entire Sixers bench. Shocker. It shouldn't be that hard to do. But when you're watching this game unfold, it really came down to Tyler Hero just kind of taking over from beyond the arc and being able to get those huge shots whenever they needed those big shots. But anything that would squash the momentum of the Sixers, especially in that third quarter, then later in the fourth quarter, it seemed like he was just toying with the Sixers. That's really where you started to feel like things were getting out of hand. But without Joel Embiid, we have talked about everybody trying to step up and everybody trying to make things happen. Tobias Harris played great last night, 27 points. Had 3 turnovers in the game, came up with 6 rebounds, was 11 from 18 for shooting. And he got to the foul at 4 of 5 from beyond the from the free throw line. But for me, he did exactly what you wanted him to do in this particular game. He was aggressive. He relied on his mid-range game more than anything. He attacked the rim. He played some solid defense. He carried his defense over from the Toronto series into game 1 here against the Miami Heat. That was great. He stepped up. James Harden, not so much. Tyrese Maxey, I don't know what the hell Tyrese Maxey was doing. It was like the first time I looked at Tyrese Maxey and actually got angry because I actually expected so much more from him. I'm not at the point yet with Tyrese Maxey where I'll ever shift to the, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. But I am angry. When I saw him jacking up those from the logo threes in the first quarter, I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing? They don't need that from you. They need to drive to the lane. They need to get contact. The threes for Tyrese Maxey, this might seem nuts, and I have no analytical data to back this up. But Tyrese Maxey, to me, has never been, in the 2 years we've watched him here in Philadelphia, especially this year that you can actually rely on him to hit a three, he has never been a guy to start out at the three-point line. He has always been a guy to start out in the mid-range or attacking the basket, whether that's little floaters, whether that's teardrops, whether that's layups, N1s, whatever you want to call it. That's how it seems he establishes himself in a game. He tried to establish himself in this game as a three-point shooter from jump, and that is not Tyrese Maxey's game. It seems like his threes to me, and again, no analytical data to back this up, Tyrese Maxey to me always seems to be a guy that always develops that shot as the game goes on. That seems to be something that happens within the flow of the game, not something that's forced from the start. And that's what it seemed like he was doing. It seemed like Tyrese Maxey, when he got the ball in his hands in the first quarter of this game, it felt like when he was beyond the arc, it was like, we're down 10. I got to get points now. Like, that's what it felt like. And he had time. And that's still not the best version of himself. I love the idea that he could do it. I love that it's part of his game. I love how hard he's worked to make it a part of his game. But it seemed like last night he was forcing a lot of things. And the points were there for him. He still had, 10 points in the first half. He did himself a fine job as far as that went. But those other shots that just seemed out of character for him for that point in time in the game seemed odd. Seemed very odd. And look, it was good to not worry about another coach bitching about calls the way Nick Nurse would bitch about calls. There were a couple of things that went down in this game. They didn't overall affect the outcome of the game. There were a couple of bad ones. Thibault had a great block on Tyler Hero, and it was called a foul. That was dumb. There was another one later in the game where James Harden got called for the offensive foul on one end, and then down the other end, he got called for a block. It wasn't called the same way. So there's a couple of things you can look at that just didn't go the Sixers' way. But bottom line, the things I highlight, number one, you didn't have Embiid. Number two, your shooting was abysmal. Number three, even when you showed signs of life, and this is what sucked. This is what is so mind-boggling to me when it comes to what Doc Rivers did in this game. Even when you started to show signs of life and you went on that run at the end of the first half and you went up a point after being down 14 points, you took a 1-point lead on the number one seed at halftime on the road without your MVP caliber player. You started to build that momentum because of the way Paul Reed was playing. That helped you in all of that. It's not all because of Paul Reed by any means, but you started to build that momentum with a 5 on the floor named Paul Reed. And you decided to get away from that. I don't care what the players were saying at halftime. If Doc Rivers went to his players and said, hey, what do you guys want to do today without Embiid? And they all say, we want a roller. Give us DeAndre Jorden, more or less. Then you give him DeAndre Jorden, and that fails. And then you put in Paul Reed, and you see that start to go a lot better. You don't give a damn what the players are saying at halftime. Even if he's got 3 fouls, I'll take my chances with him getting foul number 4. If it means I get a couple of more minutes of that momentum going. Oh, you can't put Paul Reed out there? He was back in there at the 9-minute mark. What the hell good is it to have DeAndre Jorden in there? Doc Rivers even just said, DeAndre Jorden came up played really well in the third quarter. Yeah, apparently not that great. He was out in 3 minutes. Is that all he could give you? Got Charles Bassey even looked better than that, coming in the fourth quarter to give you a couple of minutes. The shooting stuff is going to happen. It's frustrating. You get 2 of 18 from 3 guys you depend on heavily for your 3-point shot. George Niang, if he's 0 for 7 from beyond the arc, friend of the show, love him to pieces. George Niang is 0 for 7. He's not doing a lot for you. And last night you could just see that he felt lost. I saw him shoot that 7th 3, and he was just like, what the hell am I doing today? Danny Green, for as great and as hot as he can get, which is like once every 4 weeks he can be smoking hot from the corners, he was off as all get out last night. And you see those 3 guys, Tyrese Maxey included, you see those 3 guys go 2 for 18. Yeah, you're not going to win many games like that. You get beat on the offensive glass the way they got beat. Guess what? Second chance points as well. There was that one possession, I think it was in the third quarter, where even with Paul Reed on the floor, they couldn't get a defensive rebound. These are the games that we think about. These are the games that will bother the hell out of us. So Sixers, hopefully they are able to steal 1. Just give me 1. James Harden talked after the game about how as a team they need to correct the mistakes and everything that they can control going forward. Paul Reed, love this guy. Paul Reed comes out and says that they feel like they could beat this team. They just have to correct their own mistakes. They feel like they got this team. They feel like if they catch Miami getting a little too cocky, they can make sure that they can squash their momentum and hang with this team and beat this team. They're a beatable team. Love Paul Reed sticking out his chest like that, despite not getting any victory tour. Or, like it or not, you're not starting Paul Reed. It's just, it's beyond frustrating when you see the coach himself say, oh, that's working for us. Let's get away from that as fast as possible. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And it really reminds me of the guy we saw in Doc Rivers towards the end of the season that seemed like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Kind of won me back a little bit. Not won me back, but won me over with, okay, at least he's not going to do things to hurt the team at this point during the Toronto series. And yeah, that didn't happen. And now, as I've talked about with like Howie Roseman over the years, it's like all the good vibes, all the good juju that's been created has now been thrown out the window. Sixers got to steal one in Miami if they want to have a shot in this series. And if they come north and Joel Embiid's here waiting for him on Friday, then by all means, man, let the party really start, because I'd love to see what percentage of Joel Embiid you can get. Like, we all know that that's still going to be miles above Paul Turner. That's still going to be miles above Paul Reed. That's still going to be miles above DeAndre Jordan. But I'm just curious to see what percentage of them we do get, because he went from looking like he was about 75% with the thumb injury in Game 5 to looking like the dominant center we've watched throughout the entire year in Game 6. And now he's got the orbital bone fracture. He's coming off concussion protocol. We'll see what the Sixers team gets in Game 3, if in fact he is going to be able to play in that series. Let's switch gears here before we get to Josh Adams, former Eagles running back, will join us today. We recorded that interview on Thursday, I believe it was, of last week. But we had the draft going on. We had draft reactions and all that stuff. So I wanted to make sure that we gave the draft its just due. We had the Sixers making things happen. The Phillies. Remember that great day Thursday was? That great Thursday, an amazing sports day in Philadelphia? Yeah, that was great. Not so much right now. But at least the draft was, I think, good. And I saw the NFL Network gave the Eagles, they must watch the show because I gave them an A. They gave them an A. Coincidence? I think not. But A.J. Brown was introduced to the media yesterday, aside from his adorable daughter at the press conference. He also turned some heads with some of the things he was saying. One thing that I didn't realize, Jalen Hurts, the reason they have this friendship is because Jalen Hurts tried to recruit A.J. Brown to Alabama while Jalen Hurts was in Alabama. He ended up not going to Alabama. He ended up going to Ole Miss. But the two remained friends. So that's why they had that little exchange where Jalen Hurts was filming himself talking to A.J. Brown about their excitement about finally being able to play together here at the NFL level. So they're excited about that. That was one thing that A.J. Brown got into. He talked about how he was excited to work with Devontae Smith as well, the type of influence that he can have already 3 years into the league. 3 years, by the way, averaging, he mentions the numbers here, and I'll let you hear it in a second. But he talks about averaging practically 3,000 yards, averaging 1,000 yards a season over his previous 3 seasons, and how much he wants to just win. That's really the only thing on his mind is just winning, baby. So A.J. Brown yesterday on what he could bring to the table here in Philadelphia as a member of this receiving corps.
My passion for the game, my passion to win. That's all I care about is winning. I'm not a big regular season guy. I want to win it. I want to win it all, and that's my expectations coming into this building. I'm not trying to put expectations on the team, but I want to win. I haven't won anything since I was in high school. So, I know this is a great team, great organization that can get it done.
Well, you could be a big part of that solution, too, in getting it done. Eagles still have Devontae Smith. Now they have A.J. Brown. I think guys are going to be 1 and 1A. A.J. Brown, the more experienced guy, obviously comes in as the guy with the better numbers. Now we'll see what they could do in year 2 with Jalen Hurts as their full-time starter. These two receivers at the wideout position, and then see what they can also do with a guy like Dallas Goedert at the tight end spot. I'm very excited to see what this Eagles receiving core is going to do. Very, very excited. The other thing A.J. Brown got into a little bit, just to touch on this a little bit more, was like he's a young guy. He's 24 years old, and they're talking about mentoring a guy like Devontae Smith. You see guys like this. You see guys. Not that he stepped on the field yet at the NFL level. Nakobe Dean. These guys are leaders by example, and Nakobe Dean is going to have to eventually jump into that role. It's going to be difficult for a rookie to be able to do that. But here's the thing: I know some people like to put this into perspective and say, "Oh, if you're young and you haven't been here before, then shut your mouth." You can always start being a leader, no matter how young or inexperienced you are, just by displaying your work ethic to those that have been there before. to other guys that might be the leader of this defense. Like Rodney McLeod leaving this defense is a huge deal. Not the same level that it was to a guy like Malcolm Jenkins leaving this defense, but it's still a pretty big deal. You're going to have a guy like Hassan Reddick next to you who's going to take over, I think, a more vocal role. You're going to have a guy like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham back here, obviously. You're going to have all these guys that are leadership-type guys. Now you're going to be looking at a guy like Nakobe Dean trying to take over a defensive spot and try to be a little bit more of a leader as well, as a guy who's going to be basically your signal caller, your quarterback of the defense when it comes to playing a middle linebacker spot. So when you look at all this with the Eagles, and then you flip it on the other side of the ball with A.J. Brown, trying to be more of a leader as well, trying to groom a guy like Devontae Smith. I don't care if he's a rah-rah guy. I don't care if he's high school Harry and he's getting in people's faces and he's showing all that emotion. I only care that he works hard, because that will show a guy like Devontae Smith, who already works his ass off, where that is going to pay off and how that is going to pay off. That Devontae Smith might not even need it, but the fact that you bring in a guy with NFL experience that has already had success individually, as you just heard, with the numbers he's been able to put up in the NFL, that only lets Devontae Smith know, hey, that's on the other side of this tunnel. You keep working your ass off. And if those two players keep doing that, if those two players are able to do that, the job's only going to get easier for Jalen Hurts going forward. And Jalen Hurts obviously is going to have a big part of that as well. And let's hope that all that work he's doing in the offseason is going to pay off. But the Eagles are trying to make it as easy as possible on him by bringing in not just Devontae Smith, but also bringing in A.J. Brown. That, to me, is how you help a quarterback, by getting them weapons. All right, before we hear from a guy that used to be in the backfield here in Philadelphia, and Josh Adams, also a local guy from Bucks County, CB South graduate, Josh Adams. They just installed a park last Thursday, it was, in Warrington. So make sure you guys check that out if you're ever in the area. But he'll be joining us just in a minute to talk about his time with Philadelphia, talk about the new park that they're putting in, or that they put in and then has opened up. And we'll get to that conversation in just a second. But let me tell you right now about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My man Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a partner of 1847 Financial. He's a advisor for Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers fans only. Maybe next year, Flyers. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up the current enjoyment of your income? The answer is have an income stream in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective just to get to the top of the mountain and then get back down safely? Of course, you got to do both. These are the two different phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement? Let Mike show you an efficient way to pay for your kids' college education and still retire on your own terms. Impossible? Nope. Not with Mike Seibert. Your first step will be starting your growth cycle over by depleting. You want to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over. The trick is realizing you'll never get that time back. So set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting that growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings, and find out how your college savings can help your annual retirement savings. Mike will show you your own portal. He'll set it up for you in Retirement Analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com. Or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. And hopefully, Friday, we play the song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer Jewelers. Mother's Day is almost here. It's time to get the best gift for mom for Mother's Day. Don't just grab the nearest grocery store flowers. They'll be dead in a week anyway. Give the gift that will last a lifetime with Steven Singer's brand new Creamsicle 24-karat gold dip rose. Remember those warm spring days, mom bringing you a nice Creamsicle frozen treat? Well, Steven has chose to make that moment last forever with the Creamsicle 24-karat gold dipped rose. This beautiful, real long stem rose is dipped and trimmed in pure 24-karat gold with light peach petals. It's gorgeous, preserved and guaranteed to last a lifetime. It's the sweetest way to tell mom just how much those moments meant to you, and tell mom just how much you love her. Mother's Day, folks. Sunday. This Sunday is Mother's Day. Give Mom the gift that she'll cherish forever. Steven's brand new 24-karat gold dip rose at IHateStevenSinger.com. Go there today, IHateStevenSinger.com, and order this with fast and free shipping in time to arrive for Mother's Day. Free personalized love note as well with a free lifetime guarantee. Don't wait. They always sell out. See the entire collection of gold dip roses that start at just $59, only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and talk to our friend Josh Adams, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, currently of the New Orleans Saints. And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, a Philly area native, ladies and gentlemen. He's opening up his own park in Warrington. Former Eagle, former Jet, current New Orleans Saints running back, Josh Adams. What's up, Josh? How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here. I appreciate you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to have you on, man. We've had the chance to talk a little bit when you were with the Eagles. Excited to talk to you again. But first, let's shout out the park. How long has this been in the works? Dr. Adams Park, you'll have to explain that as well. But how long have you been working on this?
So I was actually just talking about this with the township, but we first got the idea out there in 2019. So we've been working on this for some years and trying to get the planning correct and working through the pandemic. So it's been a long time coming, and, obviously our grand opening is tomorrow. So we're excited that we're finally here and that all the work has been done. So I think everybody is excited and just ready to have some fun and party a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, you guys are going to have a Play 60 course, including a 40-yard dash. Is that correct for the NFL Play 60 at Dr. Adams Park?
Yeah, I mean, it's based off of that concept, definitely, with our own little spin to it. It's for kids, and we want them to be able to have fun. So it's a 40-yard dash. Two people can run it at one time. But that was where most of our inspiration came from. Obviously, me being biased, being a football player, just centered around sports and athletics and just getting kids to be active.
For those that don't know, you're a CB South alum. I myself grew up in Bucks County, so it's great to talk about the old neighborhood, if you will. I was a Doylestown guy. Now, where does Dr. Adams come from? You'll have to explain that to the audience.
Yeah, so I actually had that name when I was younger, and obviously I wanted to be a doctor way before I started playing football. I was interested in helping people and creating things, so I figured, any kid wanting to be a doctor is a great dream. But once I started playing, which was, around middle school-ish, the name kind of stuck with me. And, just to quickly get it out the way, I do spell it with an E instead of an O, because obviously, doctor is spelled with an O. Everyone knows that. But, when I was younger, I think it just stuck with me, the uniqueness of it. And I was like, you know what, we'll just go with it. We'll let it ride. I understand it works. Nobody tells Dr. Dre how to spell his name. So, so I figured, it's going to be good. And when I started to establish myself in football, I was like, this is it. And everybody just started calling me Doc, and it was good from there.
Mm-hmm. Now, this whole weekend, and congratulations, let me say that as well, on the park. It's great, and I look forward to checking out myself when I go back to the old neighborhood. This is the draft time of the year. You were an undrafted free agent signed by the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that you grew up right around, obviously. What do you remember about this time in your life back in 2018 when the draft was going on and you were getting calls from NFL teams? What do you remember about that period of your life?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a roller coaster, really, because, coming out of college, I just knew I was getting drafted. I was expecting to go somewhere, but the call just never came. And, obviously with the disappointment, I was there was, a little chip on my shoulder, a little hunger that I wanted to get out there and prove what I could do. And when I got that call from Philly and they wanted to sign me on for training camp, I mean, I was just excited. It was crazy. I told my people, and they didn't show it, but I can tell that they were a little shocked. And just the experience and the opportunity was amazing because, like you said, I grew up watching the Eagles. I grew up, not too far. I grew up a Sixers fan. So just to be able to play for your hometown, I mean, Philly is an area like no other. And to be able to experience that on the other side of it, on the other side of being a fan, of course, it's just special, and it's really hard to put into words. But yeah, I mean that whole weekend was just a roller coaster for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 touchdowns your rookie year, so you were off to a pretty good start to your career, if you ask me. What do you remember about your time with Philadelphia, with the time with the Eagles, that is?
I mean, it was, obviously ups and downs. Being a rookie, trying to navigate through the league, being a rookie, period, is hard. Trying to figure yourself out and come into your own as a player. But I just remember just grinding and working hard, constantly having to prove myself, constantly have to show what I could do. Not only being a rookie is hard, but being undrafted, having to, show what you can do, not only for the team, but, for the fans and for the organization. And I just remember, when I got my chance and my opportunity, that the team just embraced me and allowed me to be me. And I learned how to be a professional, battle through injuries, battle through adversity. And I really learned a lot in my first year, and what better place to do it in my hometown. So
Sure.
just everything put into one was a great experience.
It's got to be a little bit of a leg up on anybody else who's not really familiar with Philadelphia, like with the type of fans that we have here. I'm sure you had a little bit of a leg up in terms of not needing that crash course in how Philadelphia can be.
Yeah, I mean, even being from here, it was still tough. I mean, because I know how it can be. I know how passionate the fans are. I know that they put their heart into it. And with all the love that they give, they can also be pretty rough on you. But I understood all of it, and again, I embraced everything. I embraced the good and the bad. So yeah, a lot of people who aren't from here wouldn't really understand. But yeah, I got it.
I'm sure. What was it like? Because you came in here as an undrafted free agent, like I said, and like you just eloquently talked about. You come in here after this team had won a Super Bowl. And was it like you looking around, it's like, all right, well, whatever I can do to not only help my career, but whatever I can do to help the ball club as well. Was it kind of like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just wanted to compete. I wanted to get out there and, prove myself and show what I could do. And also the team, they had high expectations. Obviously, any team that wins the Super Bowl or gets a chance to go wants to repeat and want to get back to there. So the standards are high. But for me, I think I was kind of used to that coming from Notre Dame of playing for a team that has high standards and hold yourself to want to be the best. But again, I have to go back to like being a rookie. Everything is so stressful, and you just want to do good. You want to help out as much as you can. And for me, I just tried to accept, the role that I was put in, being a guy that goes in and when I get in certain situations, just try to take advantage of those opportunities. But like you said, coming off a Super Bowl, these guys, they want to go back, and I loved the experience. I loved the fact that they wanted to compete and be the best again. So, and being from Philly, I missed the Super Bowl because I was training, so I wanted to be a part of that too. So it was kind of special on both sides.
Do you remember anybody in the organization taking you under their wing as a rookie?
Yeah, for me, it was kind of Jason Peters, him and Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles is like my OG. But when I got in there, Jason Peters, he would give me, little hints and little game here and there, just, sitting in the cold tub, just talking to him and making me feel comfortable. Maybe he knew he was doing this, maybe not, but, I just appreciated all the advice that he gave me and everything that, he was teaching me about the game. And then obviously Darren Sproles, seeing him work and seeing how hard he worked, and pound for pound, one of the best players to ever do it, obviously. But seeing that him in year 10 could do that, it showed me, what it takes to be a professional, what it took to be great. And I just appreciate both of those guys just doing all they could to help me out.
There's a lot of question marks surrounding the 2017 season as well as the 2018 season, aside from the Super Bowl. And it came down to the type of guy Carson Wentz was in the locker room, and people still talk about it. What do you remember about him in the locker room? What do you remember about that season? You're a rookie, you don't know, but now you've been exposed to the NFL for a number of years now. What do you remember about that season in terms of Carson Wentz's interaction with the rest of the team?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that he was a great teammate, as good as any good teammate comes. He was a competitor. He wanted to win, and he embraced his role as a leader. If it were me in that position, obviously when you come off of a Super Bowl, you want to repeat, like I said before. And as the leader of the team, you expect, a high standard out of everybody. He did that not only for his teammates, but out of himself. He really pushed himself. He was hard on himself, and he wanted to be great. And I think that he brought that out of his teammates. And, I don't know what the talk is surrounding him, but I felt like he just wanted to be a great teammate. He wanted his team to win more than anything. And I respected that out of not only our quarterback, but out of a fellow teammate that was passionate about the game, just like I was, and that wanted to win just like everybody else. So in my experience, I felt like he was, a great guy and a great teammate.
All right, so you go with the Jets. Now you're with the Saints. If you could go back, we're about to have a whole group, 7 rounds worth of people there, and even more when you talk about undrafted free agents such as yourself. What would you go back and tell the rookie version of yourself now that you're 4 or 5 years into the NFL?
I think I would tell myself just to, first of all, stay hungry. I don't think I ever let that go. I learned this my rookie year, that hungry dogs run faster, and I've never forgotten it because it's true. Once you get out of that first year and you establish yourself in the league, you kind of get comfortable, and you can never really do that. And I don't think that I have, but I've seen it throughout a lot of players just get comfortable and they get complacent. But, NFL is not for long, so you can't take any opportunity for granted. And just to stay hungry and just continue to be myself. I know I was, stressed and overwhelmed by just everything. Obviously it was a dream come true, but, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And I'll just tell myself just to stay calm and play your game. And once I learned that, going in my second, third year, I felt like my game had improved. So I think those little nuggets of advice I would tell my younger self.
You're going through a big transition right now, as are all New Orleans Saints, with Sean Payton stepping down. What has the transition been like so far in New Orleans?
I love New Orleans, and it's funny that everything goes full circle because I scored my first touchdown in New Orleans, and being able to play for them and having the opportunity to compete on that team. I remember when I first got picked up there, I was told myself I'm just going to go 110 and see what happens, and I felt like I made a good impression and set myself really well for this upcoming season. But coming into that team and just experiencing the culture, experiencing the tradition of winning and being a successful team, it was new, and I was eager to see what it really meant. So I'm excited to really be a part of it and to gel with those guys, in training camp and in the upcoming season.
What did they tell you at the end of last year that they wanted you to work on in the offseason?
Really just getting the playbook down and kind of really getting that chemistry with the rest of the team. Obviously, as a player, there's always something that you need to work on, always some aspect of your game that needs to improve. But, it takes time to build trust, and it takes time to really step into the responsibility that any team has for you. So I think that just, starting fresh in camp will really do my game justice and help me to find a spot on the team.
Yeah. Plus, New Orleans ain't a bad place to be. That's a fine city, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's warm, food's good, and it's rich. So
there you go. We like to play this with all our first-time guests, Mr. Josh Adams, Dr. Josh Adams. Would you like to play the Farzy 5 with us today?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, let me get the band queued up here. Guys, can you get it going here? There we go. Ooh, spicy today, fellas. Spicy. All right, here we go. First question. Best job before the NFL job. Best job before the NFL job.
So I've never actually had a job before. Once I started playing football, that was pretty much it. So I couldn't tell you, honestly.
Here I am running around Doylestown landscaping, and Josh Adams just got to play football. Come on.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, we used to, shovel snow and rake leaves just for a little bit of change, but I don't think that was, an official job.
Good enough. All under the table. Go-to fast food place.
I'm not really a big fast food guy, but if I had to choose, I would say Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. Go there, milkshake, fries, the whole nine.
Have you had a Crystal Burger yet down there in New Orleans?
No, I haven't. I don't know. What's that?
At Crystal Burger was right at the end of Bourbon Street, I remember. And I remember thinking as I was eating it, I'm in New Orleans. Like the food capital of the country. Yeah. And I'm eating a fast food Crystal Burger. Anyway. Now, it was 3 a.m. What do you want from me? All right. First date deal breaker, Josh Adams. First date deal breaker.
I guess just being rude and just being, mean for no reason. I mean, we're out on a date, we're having a good time, and there's no need to be rude to anybody, me or people that we come in contact with. So have a little patience and just enjoy the time. I think that is it for me.
There you go. All right. Favorite city to travel to?
Favorite city? I don't want to sound like everybody else, but I do like Fort Lauderdale. I love Florida weather.
Yeah.
Beach. I love just the vibe of sitting back and relaxing. So I think that would have to be mine.
All right, sounds good. And then you seem like such a nice guy. Every interaction I've had with you, super nice guy. But what makes Josh Adams beep his horn in traffic?
So I'm practicing my patience. I really am, because you never know who's in front of you. But I guess driving under the speed limit. Like if we're going 45, let's not go 30. Let's at least push a 40. But driving slow, and that's pretty much my deal breaker. Everything else I can probably deal with, but driving under the speed limit is tough for me.
Josh Adams, I couldn't be more happy for him. I mean, congratulations on the park, guys. We can cut it. Okay, thanks. Seriously, all serious. Congratulations on the park, Dr. Adams Park in Warminster. You guys should check it out. You should bring the kids. You should run a 40-yard dash race with them and have yourself a good time. Congratulations on your success, continued success as well at the New Orleans Saints, and hopefully one day, you'll be back here playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Josh, thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You never know. Maybe.
There you go. Josh Adams joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. How great was he? And I do love the guys that never had a job before their NFL job. God bless them. Here I am running around Doylestown, landscaping, refereeing basketball games like some schmuck. Josh Adams, Dr. Josh Adams, with an ER. Just worried about all that other fun stuff. Just playing football, man. But that is great. And when I reference my refereeing career, a lot of it was in Warrington, actually. I was at Doylestown. I was from Ambler originally. I am from Ambler originally, but I grew up in Doylestown. And that whole area, the Doylestown and Warrington, Warrington's Crossing, where I used to go to the Regal Cinemas, all that stuff that needs some development for this stuff, and that's great. That's awesome. In April, did I see you say they closed the hockey rink? I played a lot of hockey in that, or do you mean the skating rink, like the ice skating rink? Because there is a place, I want to say it was Warrington. It was Warrington. Yeah, Warrington Warwick Athletic Association. Down this road called Meyer Way, they had the municipal building and they had the municipal courts. There was 3 courts and then a roller hockey rink, an outdoor roller hockey rink that was just awesome. And I hope that's not what you mean. That was a good time. That was a good time. But my thanks to Josh Adams for jumping on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and talking all things Eagles, talking all things Saints, talking about his NFL career and starting that park in the area. So that's great. Hey, when you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them at one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. Hey, guys, in case you didn't catch the show yesterday, we have a new partner here at the Farzy Show. It's one that we've been wanting for a long time. And this is for a lot of people in the chat, you beautiful people. Freestone Farms CBD, the best CBD brand because they farm it themselves with all organic inputs, and they offer you some education on what they grow and how they grow it to make the best quality products on the market. I'm sure you've tried a lot of different brands, but honestly, Freestone Farms CBD is amazing. It's great after working out. It's great to help you go to sleep and relax for the night. And what's even more exciting about it is our friends at Freestone Farms just unveiled an all-new strain menu with some supremely good CBD at prices you'll absolutely love. Check out FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. That's FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. You'll find it all right there. The menu is something you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox. Oh, phenomenal. That clocks in at the chart of, how about this, 24.1% and super CBD, which is that half Hindu Kush, and 21%. The genetics these guys use are off the charts, ladies and gentlemen. They also grow their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from that jar. Fantastic. After harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Just one look or smell is enough to know it's CBD done right, and that the product is great for anyone looking to take natural approach to anything that they put into their body. Also, check this out. You want 20% off? You want 20% off of Freestone Farm CBD? Just use promo code Farzy. That's right, promo code Farzy for 20% off at checkout. That's promo code Farzy at checkout on FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. That's FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. Let me tell you about the amazing people of PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's jump on into the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we have here. Kevin leads it off for us. What's going on? Judah's Lion. What's up, Judah's Lion? Josh Adams as an ex-Eagles running back. Josh Adams? Yeah, damn right. Sitting by the fire on the bay, tuning in to my favorite show. Morning to all. Good morning, Mullet. What's going on? Remind me what bay you're at again. Are you in San Francisco? Have we had this conversation? I think we've had this conversation. But nice to have you again. Mally, what's going on? Nice to have you. I never, ever want to see Jordan in a Sixers jersey, let alone in on the damn court. Sean, good morning. Mally, duck, gonna be duck. And he's using duck emojis, which I do appreciate. Kevin, good morning to you again. Mally, right now, I'll take Tony DeLeo back as the head coach over Duck Rivers. Wow! Tony DeLeo! Previous to coaching the Sixers, his last coaching stop was coaching women in Germany. I'll never forget that. I believe he actually met his wife while over there. But how about that? Tony DeLeo reference on the show today. That's a great one. That should retire. It's not going to get any better than that, Mally. God bless you. Sean Gillespie. Good morning to Kevin. I like when you guys individually say good morning. That's great. Paul Reed must have said something to Duck's tattoo hair. All right, Sean. Although you're probably right. Fuji, what's going on? Nice to see you. Ray, if Thibault is this shutdown defender, why isn't he ever covering the guys with the hot hand? Hero killed him last night. I could not agree more. I don't know who it was that tweeted it last night, but it was something along the lines of, Alyssa, was it you? That Toronto broke Thibault, basically? Not being able to play in those games. Real time, what's up, man? I'm just annoyed. The biggest thing this offseason, no doubt in my mind, Morey going to get this team right. This experiment was wonky. That's funny. I like the word wonky. You can blame overrated Morey 2 years in a row now for not doing anything for the bench and killing them in the playoffs. You know what's funny? At least they did something last year with George Hill that ended up doing nothing. Like they tried to help the bench out. Like George Hill was somebody that you thought could come in and run the second unit. Not at all the case. They got Paul Millsap as a supposed replacement for Andre Drummond. Epic fail. But I never expected anything from Paul Millsap. I expected something from George Hill. I didn't expect much from Paul Millsap. Check Harden's birth certificate. He's an old 32. Certainly seems like it there, Ray. Good morning, John Cheeseborough. What's up, buddy? April, good morning. Nice to see you. Real time. I'm the only one still not worried about James Harden. People want Houston, James Harden, and he's not here to do that anymore. I want to fast forward because people and these lazy narratives TNT broadcast. I what we got in game 6 of James Harden is the only James Harden I need to see from this point out. Playing smart, within himself, not forcing things. Last night I thought he forced some stuff. He could have been a lot better last night. He even said so after the game. He could have been better. He had he did 3 threes last night in the game, which that's nice. That's good. That's fine. I can take 3 threes from James Harden. 2 for 7. 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. And I believe both those threes came in the first quarter. 16 points overall, just 5 for 13 from the floor. 5 turnovers. Yeah, he's aware he could be better, and he needs to be better. Last night, I felt like there are more instances, especially more instances than Game 6, that he forced it. Game 6, I thought he just played a controlled version of basketball. I understand you're trying to establish yourself without Joel Embiid, try to carry the team a little bit, but that's not the best version of you. The best version of you is trying to set up guys around you. Maxey and Harden, I thought, pressed a little bit last night. Now, the numbers weren't there, which kind of goes hand in hand with that. Tobias Harris's numbers were there with 27 points. So you could say he was trying to do too much, but he was being successful. But again, there was nothing I looked at from Tobias Harris last night where I said he's forcing it, he's trying to do too much. No, he was getting into the paint, he was relying on his mid-range game, occasionally shoot the 3. I'm fine with, and giving you great defense. I'm fine with that from Tobias Harris. That's within his game. James Harden, I think, was trying to play like he was 27 again, which just isn't there. Tyrese Maxey was trying to play like a seasoned veteran, shooting threes from the logo, which was just unnecessary, especially in the early goings of that game. John, all these turnovers are the killer. Sixers really could have. Yeah, turnovers were tough. The Sixers in Heat, though, I think the Heat had. I think their differential was only 13 in turnovers. I think it was 15 to 13 in favor of one or the other. But yeah, it's still 15 turnovers is not good. Facts, John, to change the game. Let's see. Clay, what's going on? If Sixers come home 0-2 hole. Might as well shut down Embiid and make him get his thumb surgery because they weren't winning. They aren't winning squat. Clay, I don't necessarily disagree, but I think you got to exhaust every resource. Good morning, Alyssa. What's going on? Julian, what's up, Julian? James Harden isn't the answer either. The dude can't do it anymore. I mean, one GD game, he can't score 30 points, not 50 points. I'm just looking for 30 points, says Julian. I agree. What's happening? AJ looks powerful. AJ Brown looks powerful. Like he can fight off corners physically. He can devour corners. Real time. Mark's shirt is sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic. Yes. The show is, yes. Gotta love weed plants floating in the corner. What? Weed plants? Plus, I don't have weed plants because, Freestone CBD, man. Freestone CBD. Freestone Farm CBD. Real-time smoking if you got them. Oh, Ray is fuming today. We got more than one comment from Ray. My man, pots and pans. Ray, what's on your mind second here? I go with the two young bigs, Reed and Bassey. They can't do any worse than Jordan. Bassey, he's athletic at least. I agree. Evan, Farzy Mania. Thank you, Evan, or Fars Mania. Appreciate you, Evan. Mally, Mark is channeling his inner 5th grade math teacher vibes with that shirt on today. I hat tipped some of my math teachers a little bit later. But you know what? Hat tip to any math teacher I ever had. Because your patience with me, God bless you. God bless you. I don't get it. Oh, God. Farzetta, seriously? Let's see here. April, this is awesome. The area definitely needs something like this. Oh, this is Paul Reed. This is Josh Adams Park. It absolutely does, April. Definitely. Chick-fil-A eventually has to sponsor this show, or Checkers. Yeah, I'll take both. Sean. Thank you. Okay. So let me tell you about one math teacher I had, Mr. Keener. This is like, there were a couple of teachers I had that kind of just understood that I couldn't pay attention to anything. And I always joke about it, but it's true. I learned to read in the van out back. All right. For those that don't know, for like you average kids that were not below average like me when it came to reading or math comprehension, that they're like the Reed's van out back. And I went to a Catholic school. So this was like a state-sponsored thing, and from what I understand. And it was like all the kids would be reading in the beginning of the school year, and they'd be like, hey, Mark, why don't you get back out in the van? And I'd have to go out in this van, and it would be like me and some other moron. And this is me speaking about me. And it was like we would get the individualized attention we needed to advance our curriculum. So that was a big memory of my childhood. And the math department was the same thing because I just didn't know what the hell I was doing with math. But just God bless any teacher that understood, like, this kid is not cut out for this. He's not going to be doing this. Whatever this long division stuff is, this ain't for him. This calculus stuff, push that aside. Just not for this guy, not for Mr. Farzetta. Get him out of here. I respect any teacher that kind of realized that early, and Mr. Keener was one of those guys. And I was doing so terrible in his class that he learned that I did an impression of him. And somehow that got back to him. And he called. I remember I got a pink slip. I was at lunch and I got a pink slip and it said, Mr. Keener's office. Or Mr. Keener's class. So I had to go to Mr. Keener's class. I say, Mr. Keener, I got the pink slip. What's up? And he goes, I'll never forget it. He goes, I hear you do an impression of me. And you don't know Mr. Keener. Just take my word that that's a dead-on accurate impression of Mr. Keener. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, come on, don't lie. Do an impression. And I do an impression of him. And at the end of it, he goes, that's not me. And he said, if you do that impression for the class tomorrow and they laugh, he goes, I'll pass you on your next test no matter what. Like it or not. And I said, what? And he goes, do an impression of me for the class. If they find it funny and think it's good, you pass your next test no matter what. I don't think I passed the test all year. I'll pass you for the test, no problem. But if they don't laugh, then your grade is your grade. And I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And he goes, well, summer school. And I go, cool. So I'll do the impression, Mr. Keener. So the next day I do the impression. Class loves it. I pass the test, and I don't have to go to summer school. So lucky me. Mr. Keener understood. I was one for the performing. I wasn't one for the math. Thank you, Mr. Keener. And Miss Scully, you were the best. You were the absolute best. Chick-fil-A, amen. T-Bro. That's a true story, by the way. April, when that person in the left lane is doing the same speed next to the person in the right lane. T-Bro, we should have rockets on our cars. And, let's make it civil, where we have to, like, contact someone for approval to launch. And you have to be like, I got a slow guy in the left lane and a slow guy in the right lane. They're not changing speeds and nobody can pass. Target acquired, approved. Boom. Blow up the one car in front of you. Somehow the person survives. They're fine. They just don't have a car anymore and they're out of the left lane. You pass. That's if I was king of the world, that's the way it would be. April, the roller skating rink on 611. It's a dance studio now. The roller skating rink on 611. Oh, by Julie, or by formerly Julie's, now Nebraska or whatever that is. Yeah. I know that place. Yeah, I went to like a 8th grade birthday party there, I want to say. And I remember even in 8th grade thinking I stepped into a time machine. Like, hey, kids, want to get me a soda pop? Something like that. Yeah, 611's far different than it used to be. Oh, real time. Farzy. Farzy looks like the teacher that makes you say, show your work, jerk. Like it or not, you're going to show me your work. Meyerway Park is still there. Thank God. Okay, T-Bro. Awesome. I ref there for a lot of years, and my buddies and I played a lot of hockey. When we could get a ride to go play hockey, that's where we went to go play hockey. If not, we would rollerblade to Burpee Park in Doylestown. T-Bro, a deck store? What? Cheeseboro, when Farzy reads the new sponsor ad, he looks like a guy that wants to say, I'll trade you my shirt for a grilled cheese. I've no lies detected. No, grilled cheese? You kidding me? Damn right. April, have a lot of great memories from that rink. The ice skating rink? We all rooting for the Panthers for G? Shiloh, absolutely. For Claude Giroux? Damn right we are. Watch your mouth about Jersey? Oh, we're talking Jersey over here? Humble Philly Bull, what's up? Jersey is not Philly. It's part of the tri-state area, but completely different from Philly. I don't think it's completely different from Philly. It's not being from Philly. Like, I don't even say, I've lived 20 years in Philadelphia. I grew up in the suburbs, but I'm always from Ambler. Like, when I travel, though, if people say where you're from, I always say Philadelphia area or Philly area. And then you'd be shocked the amount of times people say, oh, so you're a Steelers fan? I'm like, what? Anyway. Mullet is in Okinawa. Wait, being someone born and raised in Philly, it bothers me when people not from Philly claim Philly like you didn't struggle and suffer through these inner city struggles that Philly. What is happening? Humble Bull. I don't know where that started. Having great memories of that rink. It was awesome. I agree, April. Bobby Boucher, 100%, my man. Watch your mouth about Jersey. The buyout market was always hot until the Sixers needed somebody. The NBA is fixed. Good point. April. Kinbei Okinawa, put a pic. This is one of my favorite comments ever, Mullet. And not just from you, I mean ever. April. You know what's up? Kinbei Okinawa. Put a picture of it on your Twitter, Mark. Down with Candyland. Oh, T-Bro, your wife had Mr. Keener and she remembers my impression? Oh, this still my heart. Tell your wife I said, what's up? I don't know who your wife is, but what's up? And thank you for laughing because you got me out of summer school. Humble Bull had some CBD this morning. Thanks for everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome as per usual. Much appreciated. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. 76ers off until tomorrow night, where they have a 7:30 tip-off with the Miami Heat. That's going to be on TNT yet again. Phillies are going to start a series with the Rangers tonight, 6:45 start time for the Phils as they're back in action after dropping 2 of 3 to the Mets. And they start at 6:45 tonight against the Rangers as they start up that series. On the bump for the Phillies tonight, Ranger Suarez will get the start against John Gray. So we'll see how that goes. Also, Buck Showalter is getting suspended by Major League Baseball, and the pitcher as well. His name's escaping me right now, for intentionally throwing at Kyle Schwarber. Thank God for that, because that's the right call. Unlike the NBA, who has no idea what they're doing in these situations, MLB actually made the right call on this. You can't intentionally throw at somebody, miss a number of times, then hit the next guy and expect not to get suspended. And the manager absolutely should be suspended in that scenario, because where do you think that's coming from? Not just the players, but also the manager. So good job for the MLB actually making that suspension. Phillies tonight, 6:45 start time against the Rangers. They start up that series. Sixers tomorrow night, 7:30 tip on TNT. In closing, just one last time for our boy Duck Rivers. You can't make shots as a head coach. Your team has to make shots. You can't heal a player's orbital bone as a head coach, Doc Rivers. That can't happen. But you know what you could do? You could do that classic thing of putting your players in the best possible position to win games. And regardless of what the team told you about wanting a roller to get to the basket like Deandre Jorden at the start of the game, so you put him in your starting 5, regardless of what they told you, if another guy is playing better, i.e. Paul Reed in the final 6 minutes of the first half, where the Sixers happen to go on a 16-4 run to close out, a 16-6 run to close out that first half and take a 1-point lead with Paul Reed on the floor, then maybe, just maybe, start things out like that in the second half. I'm not saying it's why they lost. I'm saying it was the most controllable thing of the reasons that they lost. Sometimes you're not going to be able to throw the ball in the ocean, like you had with Maxey, with Niang, with Danny Green, 2 for 18 from beyond the arc. Like you had all that. you're not going to be able to control that. You're not going to be able to control whether or not Joel Embiid's healthy or not. But you know what you can control? The guy you're putting on the floor. And even if he's got 3 fouls at halftime, put your best foot forward because it was what was working for you at the close of that first half, especially if you already know a team like the Miami Heat is blowing teams out by they've outscored their opponent 35 points in that third quarter. Put your best foot forward. If Paul Reed gets another foul, it's not going to be a make or break. I'm still not saying Paul Reed's going to dominate Bam Adebayo by any means, but I am saying carry the momentum that you had from the first half into the second half. That's what you could have done. That's what was controllable as the head coach of this team. Regardless of what your team is telling you, if that's the best version of you that night, continue to play that until you can't play it anymore. Especially if, you're only going to play Deandre Jorden 3 minutes to start the second half. Then who the hell cares? At least start with what you walked off the court with in the second quarter. Carry that momentum in. See how long you can ride it. Don't be the one that kills it. Is it why they lost? No, it's not why they lost. Yes, a lot of turnovers, not being able to throw a ball in the ocean, not having your best player, not just your best player, but your MVP caliber player, one of the best players in the league. That's why you lost. When people talk about controlling the controllable, the thing you could have controlled was who's on the floor to start the second half. I would have rode the momentum, regardless of fouls. Oh, wait, hold on. We closed that out on a 16-6 run. Let's keep that going a little bit longer and see how that goes. Instead, no, let's kill that momentum. Hey, remember that thing that was working for us at the end of the first half? Let's get away from that as fast as humanly possible. Like it or not, let's get away from it as fast as humanly possible. Again, I just imagine being Paul Reed, hearing that from your head coach after you've busted your ass for the last 2 years trying to get significant minutes in the NBA. And here you are in the playoffs trying to help your team win and doing it. And after the game, you hear from your head coach, like it or not, you still ain't starting. Cool. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com from the Steven Singer Studios. Thanks for watching, everybody. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job. As per usual, this is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.